Sandy says read, and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to do a booktube tag. Let me go over to this part of the screen. Okay, this is the Perfection of Reading book tag. I saw it at Beyond Books. The originator of the tag is Lekden over at A Rock in Samsara. Now, in addition to answering each one of these prompts, he is recommending, or he's asking us to recommend a book that we feel embodies each particular perfection. Each perfection prompts. Let's see. And he says it is okay if the book we recommend is the same as our answer to the prompt. All right, let's dive in. Prompt number 1, The Perfection of Generosity. What is an example? Nope. What is an experience? You guys, I do know how to read. I just can't read what's on my screen. What is an experience of either book gifting or book receiving that was meaningful or memorable for you? Okay, I've got an example of each, actually. In giving, when my niece, when she was like still in the womb, I was starting to like build her library for her. I was giving books to her before she was even born. I sent, of course, I sent Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights. You know, I sent books over to my sister and brother-in-law so they could start building her library for her. Now, of course, I sent children's books too. I sent, little picture books and little kids books. But yeah, Jane Eyre was going to be in her future. Let's see. Then on the receiving end of this, when I was a kid, my cousins gifted to me Little House in the Big Woods by Laura Ingalls Wilder. And I remember that being just really cool. I was so happy that I got that book, and it kind of started me off on the whole Little House obsession that I had. Yeah. Now, I don't remember if that was a Christmas gift or a birthday gift. Like, I don't remember the time of year that I received it, but I remember receiving that book, and it was from my cousins. Yeah. Okay. So what is a book that embodies the perfection of generosity? I'm going to say The Most Beautiful Tree by Melody Carlson. And this one has illustrations by Donna Race. This is adorable. And I know that I've talked about it a couple of times here on the channel. Around Christmas time, of course, we talk about it. We get it up there, and I'm betting there's a huge glare on it. So let me just kind of move it around a little bit and see if you can see it. This embodies the whole idea of generosity right there. Next, let's move on. Number 2, the perfection of ethical discipline. What are your best and worst reading habits? You guys have thought about this. I don't even know if I've got habits anymore. I just read. I read whenever I can, basically, is what's happening here. And I don't know if I have reading habits any longer. I don't know. Doesn't that sound crazy? But I wrote down here, I don't know what habits I have in reading these days. Other than, and this one is a negative, I have gotten easily distracted lately. Everything distracts me. Like a parrot, shiny things distract me. So I have gotten into a distraction habit where I can be reading, I'll get distracted, I'll set a book down, and then I won't come back to that particular book for like a month because I start reading other books. That, I guess, is a habit because I've started doing it a lot lately. Is that a habit? I don't know. Okay. But if y'all wanted to read about ethical discipline, I would recommend the book of Ruth in the Bible. Yeah, there's good ethical discipline in there. Number 3, the perfection of patience. I don't know that I have patience. What is a book that you anxiously waited for, and did it live up to the expectations you set for it? Now, I don't know that I've had any books that I have like anxiously waited for in like the past decade. Yeah, And now, I don't know if that is a statement on today's literary landscape or if that's a testament to my lack of paying attention to what's going on out there. I don't know. I've not pre-ordered a book and then waited anxiously for it to arrive. That's not happened in my life for a while. It just hasn't. I mean, if there is a book I'm interested in reading, I'll just go get it, or I'll order it, or I'll get it off someone's table while I'm standing in front of them. I'm not really, I don't know how to explain it really, other than I'm not really looking forward to any specific books that are coming up. Today's literary landscape is not exciting to me. Let me put it that way. Yeah, which is a shame. That's really a shame. There should be something out there that lights my fire. There should be something out there that I'm looking forward to, and there isn't. That's a shame. It's really a shame. Let's see. And I wrote here, I don't know. Oh yeah, I don't know that I have any books that are about patience other than, again, the Bible. Yeah, there's stories that would help with that. But I'm also going to go with J.R.R. Tolkien's Letters from Father Christmas. Now, the stuff that he was writing to his kids in here wasn't just, here's a lesson on patience. It wasn't quite like that, but there were lots of little virtues that he was sharing with his kids in here. I'll say that. Yeah. Okay. Number 4, The Perfection of Joyful Effort. What is a book or series that you found difficult to complete, but found to be ultimately worthwhile? I'm going to go with The Lord of the Rings. Yeah, because as a kid, I didn't finish it. Okay, there was one of those scholastic book fairs at school when I was in, I think it was 9th grade, because 9th grade was in junior high still for me in school. So I was in middle school when I bought that trilogy. I remember purchasing it at one of those book fairs at school, but it was like 9th grade. That was where that happened. But I didn't finish it. I couldn't, I missed Bilbo. Okay, I missed that story. And so I just didn't get into it. So I had to get into it when I was an adult. I read it as an adult because I was ready for it as an adult. Okay. A book that exemplified joyful effort is Charlotte's Web. Definitely, I put that one down, Charlotte's Web, because our little spider puts lots of joyful effort into making little messages to promote Wilbur. Yeah, definitely. I would definitely recommend Charlotte's Web for joyful effort. Another one, and I don't know if this fully encompasses the idea of joyful effort, but in Summer of the Monkeys by Wilson Rawls, I know there's a glare. I know there is. In Summer of the Monkeys, there is a lot of joyful effort on this kid's part to catch all of these monkeys that have escaped from a nearby circus, right? He's trying to catch all these monkeys and get paid for that. He wants to get the reward money for that so he can buy a new pony. Well, at the end of the book, his work is about to be rewarded. All that hard work he did. Should I give this away? Should I say what happens? He decides to do something else with the money that is a very good, and this could work for generosity, for our generosity prompt too. He decides to do something else with that money that is very rewarding and fulfilling and joyful and wonderful. I mean, it's a good message, you guys. Good message. Okay, there's that one. What number are we up to? We just did joyful effort. Okay, number 5, the perfection of concentration. What do you do, if anything, to get in a reading zone? What is your ideal reading environment? And you guys, I don't do anything to get into a reading zone. I just sit down with a book and start reading, and I get immersed in the world. That's how it works. I just block out the real world, which is wonderful, and read. I don't need anything to get into a reading zone other than light. I need good light. That's it. Yeah, and then I put here, I don't think I have books that glorify concentration. I don't think I have any. If you guys have some recommendations on books that would discuss concentration, or books that have characters who are learning concentration, that might be nice for you to recommend in the comments below. And our final prompt is number 6, The Perfection of Wisdom. What is a book where you learned something, especially something unexpected, whether profound or mundane? Okay, so most of the Bronte works, when I read the Brontes, when I have read the Brontes, I learn something new from them. I'll give the example of reading The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Way back when I read that, I didn't realize, going into it, I went into it blind. I didn't realize that I was going to learn about, feminism. I didn't realize I was going to learn about, protecting your child from an abusive, horrible, terrible husband that you had to get rid of. I didn't realize I was going to be learning that from Anne Bronte. Okay. Well, also Charlotte Bronte. I have learned from Charlotte in her essays that she wrote when she was in Belgium. I didn't realize I was going to be learning from her about this practice of burning a widow along with her dead husband. Yeah, who knew? Okay, so Charlotte and Emily, when they went to the pensionnat over in Belgium, they had to write essays. Okay, they were writing them in another language. They were translating some essays they were writing from scratch and also translating. And Heger was editing them, marking them up for them. One of the essays that Charlotte wrote was about the Indian widow. Is that hold, please? Wait, should have prepared a little better for this. The Indian widow, is that what she? Sacrifice of an Indian widow. That's the name of her essay. And she's basically talking about this Hindustan practice of burning the widow when the husband has died. And in this culture that Charlotte had learned of, it was common practice. But the widow was being given a choice at some point in history. The widow was given a choice, and she could decide, no, I don't want to do this. And then the family was not supposed to coerce her. And there were missionaries and there were other people who would witness the burning of the body, and the witness would intervene if necessary to assist the widow if the widow had changed her mind. Okay. So Charlotte was writing about this practice, and Charlotte was making a commentary on how she saw it as barbaric and how she pitied these widows. And she was just, she was making a commentary on it, let's just say. And then in the comments about the essays, the editor, Sue Lonoff, was explaining that Charlotte had written about this practice 3 times in her life. Once in her juvenilia, once in these essays, and then once in Jane Eyre. And I was reading that going, wait, I didn't pick up on that in Jane Eyre. Where was that in Jane Eyre? And so I went back to Jane Eyre and to the place where, Sue told us to find it. And yeah, there it is. So like within the last decade, I have learned something new and pretty profound that's in Jane Eyre about Charlotte and her writing and her thoughts. Yeah. So yes, there's something profound that I learned from Charlotte, from the Brontes, whenever I read their stuff, all the time. And it says here, I'd recommend this book to go with this prompt. I believe that the Belgian Essays from Charlotte and Emily, if you can get your hands on this, I will put information about this, its full title and such, in the drop-down box below. So if you'd like to check this out, you can. It's an interesting study. I mean, obviously nonfiction. It's an interesting study on how Charlotte and Emily were working on these essays that their professor assigned to them. And this book, I mean, it shows how the professor marked up their essays too. And a couple of them show, the original essay that the girls wrote, and then the markup from Heger, and then the rewrite as well. So yeah, this is a really nice tome. I learned something from it. Many things from it, actually. Okay, so that takes care of the perfection of wisdom from the Brontes, of course. You guys, that's it. There were only 6 prompts. If I can think of some folks who I think would enjoy this tag, I will put them in the drop-down box below as well. I think that's everything for the perfection of reading. Reading is perfection, even when I'm distracted. You guys, thumbs up for learning something new from the Brontes. Thumbs up for the perfection of reading. Thank you so much for tuning in.